Going on a short-term international mission trip means you pack your belongings, head to the airport, and take off into the great unknown, trusting God as you go.
Digno y santo el Cordero inmolado en la cruz.
7 of us from First Christian Church in Somerset made the journey to Costa Rica. We had no idea what lay ahead of us. We only knew that we wanted to reach out of our comfort zones and somehow benefit our brothers and sisters in Christ. We were driven to a church which would serve as our home for the next few days. We would join several other groups coming from multiple places in the U.S. All in all, there would be 37 souls gathered for this trip, the largest one I've ever been involved with. We unpacked our gear and made our way to makeshift rooms where we inflated air mattresses on concrete floors and anxiously met the people we would be spending a lot of time with over the next few days. The next morning, we went to Pastor Edgar's church where we would center most of our work. It was an emotional moment for my wife and me to see that church building. 5 years ago, we had come to this very spot to find an empty lot where an earthquake had destroyed the previous church. We had spent that week hand-digging a footer. Now, thanks to the many people who had come over the years, a new, beautiful church building stood. It was a splendid place for people to gather to pray, fellowship, and hear from God. Our time together would begin with a worship service. Though many of us didn't know the language, no one feels like a foreigner when you're with the family of God. In any language, worshiping God is worshiping God.
Cuán grandioso, asombroso, con solo decir Jesús. Cristo, tu nombre es grande, fuerte, inagotable. Tu misterio glorioso es. Santo, santo.
The first day we stood a little awkwardly. Most of us were complete strangers to one another. In a short time span, all of that would change. We would quickly be mended together as we threw ourselves into service. The dawn of the next day would mark the official start of our service in Costa Rica. As the sun rose, we got ready for the day, each in our own way, doing our own thing. Many quietly journaled or reflected on their reasons for being there. Others just hung out and waited for what the day would bring. One of the ministries that we busied ourselves with was food distribution. We first made a trip to a local supermarket where we picked up essentials like rice, oil, food items, detergent, and an assortment of toiletries. In assembly line fashion, we then loaded these items into single bags to be distributed to those in the immediate community who were in need. This gave opportunity to not only feed people, but to pray with them as the bags were delivered.
Digno y santo el Cordero inmolado en la cruz.
One of the ministries that would bring the greatest joy to everyone involved was that of reaching out to the children. Craft projects were provided for the youngest, and games and recreation were extended to those of every age. Fun, it seemed, is spoken in every language. The joy of the children was wildly contagious.
Tú eres mi todo y yo te adoraré.
We had a team of translators who were amazing. They worked tirelessly to stand in the gap between people who wanted to share their love with people they didn't know, who were also trying to share their love with people they didn't know.
Recibe honor y gloria, poder y majestad, a ti el único Rey. Santo, 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 Dios todopoderoso, ¿quién fue, quién es y quién vendrá? La creación te canta, Hosanna, yo soy.
While the children played, a special invitation was made to the women and mothers. They dove into the activities provided and stayed for a simple short lesson used to show them just how crazy in love God was with them.
Cuán grandioso.
Andrew from Alabama had sparked an exciting ministry. Plastic buckets, coupled with a simple water filter, created a gravity flow filtering system, allowing many families to finally have access to clean, drinkable water. As these systems were provided to local homes, many people prayed to receive Christ. Not only were they getting clean water for their kitchens, but their hearts would get the first taste of real, living water. One of the most amazing and well-organized parts of the trip was the meals. A number of local ladies would take turns in the heat near open fires from sunup to sundown to make sure we were fed. And oh, how we were fed. The hot food was delicious, and each day our bodies were restored by their careful planning and cooking. It was obvious that love was their special seasoning. But we had also come to work, to transform a church structure into a church building. And work we did.
Cuán grande es Dios, cántale cuán grande es Dios, todos lo verán. Cuán grande es.
Under the careful eye of Rodolfo, or otherwise affectionately known as Jefe, we were directed each step along the way. At times, neither of us knew what the other was saying, but his joy and patience was often enough to help us understand. Everyone, regardless of age or experience, was eager to work, and there was plenty for everyone. Although the church building was complete, a new and upgraded kitchen area was badly needed. In spite of the heat and sometimes difficult conditions, no one complained. When you're doing something out of love, inconveniences are forgotten and labor becomes a joy.
splendor of the King, clothed in majesty. Let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. La Trinidad en Dios, el Padre, oh Espíritu, el Cordero y el León, Cordero y el León. Cuán grande es Dios, cántale cuán grande es Dios, todos lo verán. Cuán grande es Dios, cuán grande es Dios, cántale cuán grande es Dios, y todos lo verán.
One afternoon, Pastor Edgar had shared about his vision and hope for the church. It was an honor to be invited to come to his church, to meet his people, and to share in his vision. It was an honor to be part of God's larger plan for his church.
Sing with me how great is our God. Oh, we'll see how great is our God. How great is our God. Sing with me how great is our God, and all will see how great